Hey friends, today we're going to be answering your question, how much does a smart home cost? All right, so it's actually really hard to answer this question because there's scale and there's a lot of variable in every single smart home. But just a ballpark figure to get you going, if you factor 1 to 5% the total cost of your home, that's going to give you a decent budget to start out with on kind of figuring out what the price is of your whole home. Now listen, understand, if somebody came to us and they did everything that they could possibly do, every single window had blinds, automated blinds, every single light was controlled, every single possible room had audio, landscape speakers, they had 5 secondary surround sound systems, they had a home theater, I mean, just all the bells and whistles they could possibly do, it's going to cost a lot more than 5% of the total home. But most clients don't do that. What they do is they buy several pieces of that smart home. They pre-wire for everything, but when they actually move into the home and they get started, they've got 2 or 3 pieces of the smart home and they start adding to it as they go along. So that 1 to 5% rule really holds up. Now, obviously, we see some jobs that are over 5%, some jobs that are under 1%. But as an initial budget, if you're building your dream home and you're designing it and you're trying to figure out what to budget for your home, that 1 to 5% rule is going to give you a really good starting point. Now, let's talk about scalability and why that's an issue. Think about Sonos Audio. That's an audio brand a lot of people are familiar with. One room audio with Sonos, it's pre-wired in-wall or in-ceiling speakers and a Sonos amplifier. It's going to be $650, $700 per room. Awesome. That's a really easy number to go on, but how many rooms are you going to do? Are you going to do 3 rooms? Are you going to do 4 rooms? A lot of our installations have 16, 20 plus rooms of audio. So all of a sudden we're saying, hey, it's $650 to $700 for your least expensive home audio solution, but on a scale of 15 to 20 rooms, that changes dramatically. Our production homes, our first-time homeowners, we're seeing 2, 3, and 4 rooms of audio. On our custom builds, we're seeing anywhere from 8 to 16. So there's a ton of scale. It's really difficult if you just call us and say, hey, how much is my smart home going to cost, to know without getting some information from you and understanding what the scale and scope of your system is going to be. Now, sticking with that same scenario of Sonos, we want to talk a little bit about variable. There's a lot of variable in your system, and what does that mean? Well, Sonos, we've found, is actually cheapest audio solution through 3 zones of audio. So if we go to 4 zones of audio, something like Control 4 is actually a less expensive solution and continues to be as many zones as you add into the system. It's going to continue to be less expensive than Sonos. So if you're purely looking at budget, Control 4 is going to be a better solution for you than Sonos for 4 or more rooms of audio. However, Sonos, every single room is going to have its own dedicated stream of audio, which means you can listen to Pandora, Tidal, Apple Music, whatever you want in that room and every other room at the same time. So each room can have its own stream playing all at the same time. Now with Control 4, that's not exactly the same thing. There are some internet streaming services available, but a much smaller sampling. You've got Pandora, you've got Tidal, you've got Deezer. But you don't have Apple Music, you don't have a lot of the other popular music streaming services with Control 4 unless you add in a third-party server from somebody like Autonomic or even a Sonos Connect. So it's not a one-to-one solution. Control 4 is cheaper, but the feature sets aren't the same. So you have to make a decision on which is more important to you for that application. This is not a right or wrong answer. It's really personal preference, and every application is a little bit different. So we see that when we're trying to give you just a blanket statement on budget, it's really difficult to just say, here's what your smart home is going to cost. But again, going back to where we began, that 1 to 5%, that 1 to 5% rule is going to give you a really good feel for kind of a general budget, a target to stay within. That's going to get you off and running, and then you can start dialing in the different subsystems, your lighting, your audio, your surround sounds, and figure out what your actual budget's going to be. So hopefully that helps. Okay, if you have any questions, please leave us comments below. I will answer them personally. We want to hear from you. What are the questions you have about your smart home system, your design, your home audio, whatever it is? We will answer them for you here on one of the next videos. So be sure to leave us comments, and if you like it, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks.